Mr. Yujin.
Come in.
Hi, Mr. Yujin.
Hello, sit here.
Huh? Okay. I listened to him and sat on the stool he pointed at. If I just do what he says, there won't be any trouble, I hope.
Take that off.
What? What? I ended up shouting. What do you want me to take off, sir?
Do you want to make me deaf? Be quiet.
No, you just said something weird.
So loud. This is what's wrong with normal girls.
Ah! Mr. Yujin grabbed my leg. What are you doing? I screamed with my leg still in his hands. Oh, are you examining my... Why didn't you just say so, you ridiculous person?
Stay still.
He said that and rolled down my socks. Mr. Yujin, what are you... I prepared myself to kick him if he tried to do anything.
There's no swelling. I told him it'd be fine, but he came down every recess and nagged me.
Mr. Yujin?
Is there any discomfort when you move your ankle?
What?
Just answer my question. Do you have a hard time moving up and down the stairs?
What? Oh, yes, a bit.
How?
Oh, so it throbs a bit, just a tiny bit.
You'll feel that for about a week. Have you been massaging it as I've told you to?
Yes.
Then fine. It's not a serious injury, but if you want it to heal fast, don't run or exercise too hard.
Okay. Mr. Yujin let go of my leg, thankfully. Was he telling me to take my socks off just before? Well, he can't just say take it off. Like, take what off? I felt embarrassed for taking it the wrong way. Don't! It's perfectly normal to react that way. I hurriedly put on my sock again. I think he was actually being the school nurse just now? Mr. Yujin, did you call me to look at my ankle?
Don't look at me like that. This doesn't make sense to me, too.
I must have looked quite surprised. Mr. Yujin looked so annoyed. I mean, why did he even bother if he was going to be this annoyed? Who's been bothering you? Did you just change your mind? Why are you suddenly so... I mean, you really seem like a real nurse today.
You mean I didn't before?
Well...
I don't care what you think. I was just as surprised. If it weren't for them, I would have been spending quality time with Beatrice. Anyway, such annoying boys.
Boys? Mr. Yujin frowned and grumbled. Oh.
Yes, that delinquent music teacher and two of his stupid students.
Yuri, Tay, and Red all care for me. Two. That delinquent music teacher must mean Yuri. Obviously. But who are the two stupid students?
Yeah, that hyper sophomore with red hair, and the other sneaky one with brown hair.
You mean Red and Tay?
I think their names were something like that.
I was completely dumbfounded. I was already surprised to hear Mr. Yujin mention Yuri, but Tay and Red as well? What happened? Why were they in the infirmary?
Why are there so many stupid people asking me stupid questions today? What do you mean, why? Because of you, dummy.
Mr. Yujin held up his finger and pointed at me. He still looked very, very annoyed.
They came to make me look at your ankle. What? You're not saying you didn't know, are you?
Mr. Yujin scoffed. Ugh. You mean 3 people begged you to look at my ankle?
Yeah, and they even took turns and came separately. Really annoyed the hell out of me. First it was the music teacher. I threw him out because he started rattling my honey, beautiful dough and whatnot. But then the redhead barged in and...
Yuri was the first one! Ah, my heart!
He started shaking, yelled that he will never forgive me in the name of justice if I don't treat you properly, and ran off. If I catch him next time, I'll make sure to dissect him.
Red.
Anyways, I was thinking the infirmary was too bothered today when that brunette came in last. Yes, he was the most stubborn.
Mr. Yujin must have been very startled. He rattled on unlike his usual self. What did Tay say?
Never mind, you don't need to know.
Tell me, I'm involved in this. Please. Please. I held on to Mr. Yujin's clothes and asked. According to my observations, Mr. Yujin hates when people do this, so he'll tell me if I keep holding on to his clothes. Sure enough, Mr. Yujin cringed and started talking.
Let go, I hate it when girls cling on to me. It's annoying.
Then tell me. I won't annoy you then, or else I'm going to cling on to you like this.
Beatrice is watching, let go.
Tell me!
I shouldn't have mentioned it in the first place. Alright, fine, so let go, I'll tell you.
I let go at the end of his clothes. Mission accomplished. Mr. Yujin dusted off the sleeve I held on to.
You and them, everyone here to annoy me today.
He gave up glaring at me and started talking.
Well, he never said it's a secret, so I guess I can tell you.
Yes?
The brunette offered me a deal.
A deal?
Yes, he told me he, with his perfect bones, would become a specimen for my next experiment if I keep checking on your ankle. I said yes, since I needed a sample from a healthy male anyways, but he tricked me. Only losses for me. If I knew it was going to be this annoying, I would have said no right away. I regret it.
What? Tay said himself he'd be your next sample?
Did you even listen to what I just said? He tricked me. There won't be any experiment with that brunette.
What do you mean trick? And how can he trick you with his bones?
You really are clueless about that boy.
Yeah, tell me about it. What? Mr. Yujin looked at me reproachfully. I'm glad Tay avoided becoming his specimen. Yeah, me too. But there must be more to the story. Sadly, I don't think Mr. Yujin has any intention to reveal that part to me.
Never mind. And I heard you fell because you were pushed. Idiot. So did you find the person who pushed you?
No.
I knew being a fool was useless.
Mr. Yujin obviously thinks I'm pathetic. And then he held up his long finger and wagged it.
In this life, there are only two ways of living. Being superior and inferior, or give and take. It doesn't matter whether your hideous leg bone breaks or not, but if you've been attacked, you have to know how to counterattack.
What do you mean, attack? I just fell because there were too many people.
That transfer student didn't seem to think so.
What?
Recess must be over. Hurry and leave. I have to spend time with Beatrice now.
What? I'm not done talking.
Be quiet. I have nothing more to say. Leave now.
Mr. Yujin! And I got kicked out again. Mr. Yujin pushed me out the door and I was banished to the hallway just like that. I struggled and tried to open the door again, but it never did. I feel complicated and iffy. There were still things I wanted to ask. So, that trick, does he mean that Tay's bones aren't as perfect as he claimed they were? That's the only thing I can come up with. And, I mean, we did say that somebody pushed us when we first fell down. But who would have pushed us? We were seemingly not that close with the Hot Five yet. Although we do come in the limousine and that's common knowledge at the school right now. I wonder who pushed us. But since the bell rang, I have to go, so I'm not late for class. I barely lifted my heavy feet and headed to the classroom. Anyways, I didn't know Yuri, Red, and Tay worried about me that much. I imagined the three of them taking turns annoying Mr. Yujin. I couldn't help but laugh at that thought. Beautiful doe. And besides, Tay even said he'd give his body. I was very surprised. He told me we should keep our distance at the academy. I pouted, but I couldn't help my eyes from smiling. I should definitely thank him later. Absolutely. Should thank all three of them. All these boys are so sweet. Oh, of course, we're going to his cafe. Perfect time to say thank you.
Hi, Zion. Where here? Zion?
We didn't see Zion, who always greeted us. I glanced around to look for him, but I didn't see him anywhere. Did something happen? We were standing still at the entrance like that when someone else walked towards us from the counter.
Oh, you guys are here.
Huh? Oh, Tay, hello.
I was waiting for Zion since I naturally thought he'd come, but Tay came out. Soy was stiff like a stick. Her cheerful voice broke up because she was so nervous. Her cheeks turned pink in an instant, and she didn't keep her eyes away from him for a second. This never fails to amaze me. Usually she's so wild, like a fierce hunter. But whenever she's around Tay, she always becomes this shy girl. Amazing. Since Soy stood frozen at the spot, I had to be the one to ask about Zion. Hey, Tay, but are you by yourself today? At my question, Tay looked like he just remembered something.
Oh, are you guys standing there because Zion isn't here? He's over there.
Tay pointed to a dark corner beside the counter. At that corner, Zion was crouched down with his knees gathered together. Zion? It was covered in the shadow, so we didn't notice it before. When Soy saw that, she came back to her senses and approached him. Oh, good old Soy.
Oh my God! Zion, what are you doing there? Are you sick?
Oh, hello. You came.
Zion said hi with a weak voice. I could tell something was going on with him.
What's wrong, Zion? Did something happen to him?
Zion looked like he was witnessing the world coming to an end. What happened in the last couple of days? Soy and I looked at Tay confused.
Oh, that.
Tay looked uncomfortable but soon explained. Yes? And a few moments later... Hey, I want the explanation.
What? The harp's missing?
Isn't that the harp right behind Soy? Or is that a not as cool harp as the harp? Oh no.
Shh, your voice is too loud.
Tay put his finger on his mouth and whispered. At that, Soy got excited again and started huffing and puffing. Then aren't you in big trouble? How about Mr. Hobbin? What did he say?
Mr. Hobbin's on a business trip right now. He found some excellent tea leaves and went to get them. He'll be back tomorrow.
Tay glanced at the empty counter. Zion was still crouched down, looking like he's about to cry. Oh, then it's more serious since he's not here. Didn't he say his grandfather passed it down to him?
Yeah, that's why we're in more trouble. And we have no idea what happened. That harp isn't something anyone can just carry and sneak out. It would have to be someone who knows Banjul and the harp really well.
Then isn't Zion the only one?
That's right. Zion even has the key. So things look really bad right now. Zion might have to take responsibility for the harp if we can't find who took it.
Tay looked troubled and frowned. Oh, Zion. Zion, who was trembling in the corner, turned pale at hearing our conversation. I felt so bad for him. That's unfair. He must be the saddest one to have the harp stolen. How can he be responsible for that?
Yeah, I think so too. But the situation is complicated. Since the harp isn't cheap.
As I stood up for Zion, Tay agreed. But I didn't feel better at all. To be honest, I don't know that much about Zion and Banjul. I don't really remember how the harp looks like, and I've never seen Zion play it. But the reason I'm so worried is because Tay works here. When Tay told me he'd be working here, I couldn't help but worry. But when I actually saw Banjul and the people working here, I stopped worrying. I felt happy to know that Tay was working at such a good place with good people. So Banjul became important to me, too. But something bad's happened now. So I looked worried.
Isn't there any way? Maybe we can borrow a harp before Mr. Hobbin comes and switch for a while.
A harp's not that easy to find. Besides, that harp is antique, so it'll be difficult to find the same model. And to find it until tomorrow would be impossible.
Every time Tay crossed out possible options, we grew more and more disheartened. Soy clutched her head.
Ah! This is such a disaster. I can't just stay here. Wait a moment, I'll go see if there's anyone who knows how to get a harp.
Soy looked at poor Zion one more time and left the cafe with her phone. I whispered to Tay after Soy left. Will Zion be okay? I don't know. What should I say? Should have been more careful? No. I mean, what can you do, man? It's so sad to lose something precious. He cherished that harp so much. He must be so sad right now. I hope we find it soon. I remembered how Zion smiled like the happiest person on earth when he talked about the harp. He said he started working here because of it. As I felt bad for Zion, Tay stared at me. Huh? You seem to be sure that Zion didn't take it. Of course, he'd never have stolen it. How can you be so sure? Look at his face. That face he's making right now. That face. Tay looked confused. Yeah, that face. I've seen it before. When? At Grandpa's funeral. Tay looked like he wanted to hear more. That was how I looked like when I saw myself in the mirror. I said it, but it still made me sad. Tay was lost for words for a moment. Yes, that day I looked like Zion. He looked flustered, devastated, and lost. As if he lost something he thought would be by his side forever. I've been there before, so I can't possibly suspect Zion. Of course, the situation's a bit different, but I think he's that devastated. He looks so sad. He would never have taken it. Okay, I get it. Tay listened silently to what I said and nodded. He even gave me a smile. Yeah, I hope we find it soon. I kept worrying about Zion. I tried to think about what I could do, but nothing came to mind. I think it's not because you went through something similar that you don't suspect Zion. What? Tay gave me a kind smile. I think it's because you have a good, innocent heart and you can trust people. Oh. My face turned red at the sudden compliment. I did feel embarrassed, but Zion still bothered me. But regardless, Tay continued on. Cutie, you're a good person. Stay that way. I know there are people who can cheer up to see you like that. He was so serious, I ended up nodding. But even though Tay smiled pleasingly, I couldn't understand why he was suddenly saying that to me. I just kept worrying about Zion and the harp. I was startled at the sound of the door opening and hurriedly backed away from Tay. Sure enough, it was Soy who came in. I could see from her frowning face that things didn't go so well.
Of course there's no one around with a harp.
Oh, we all sighed at what she said. Aw, man, I feel so bad. Poor Zion. Poor baby Zion. I'm back. Oh, you're here? Tay came in pretty late today, too. I stayed awake to see him. Yeah, where's everyone else? They're all sleeping. What happened with the harp? I asked about the harp as soon as I saw him, but he looked gloomy and shook his face. My shoulders drooped. Okay, I guess it's gone. It's just completely disappeared. There aren't any signs of a break-in. I don't even know if someone actually stole it. Tay looked at his empty hands and said, Mr. Hobbins said that the harp was passed down to him, right? I don't know how Zion will be able to handle this. I'm worried, too. I couldn't help but sigh at thinking of Zion. I've only met him a couple times, but I guess I grew to like him since he was always so nice. Tay shrugged his shoulders. Cheer up. Others will think you own the harp. Tay tried to cheer me up with a light-hearted attitude. Don't worry so much. I was preparing to explain everything to Mr. Hobbin anyways. Now, it's late. You should go to bed. As I stood still looking dejected, Tay let out a sigh. Again with this awkward moment of, let's just smile and blink at each other. Did you stay awake because you worried? You still have to take care of yourself. You look awful. Thanks. I feel like Tay is going to start nagging me soon. Sure enough, he continued talking like my mom. Zion is still a stranger to you. Don't worry about other people and go to bed. I feel bad about the harp going missing, but I'll worry more if you don't get enough rest. But I can't help myself. Don't worry too much and go to sleep. Just leave the rest to me. Okay. Tay finally smiled after I forced out an answer. Tay laid down his coat and bag on the sofa and headed to the bathroom. I watched him as he went. I guess Tay's the one more worried and busy right now. He knew Zion longer than I did. But I feel like I forgot that earlier for some reason and nagged him too much. I feel bad. Besides, he must be tired from working late. I went to the sofa and gathered his things. I should take these to his room. I was about to grab his jacket. I was just wondering, I wonder if Tay stole the harp to try and frame Zion because he doesn't like that I'm getting closer to Zion. I was wondering what a twist that would be. Huh? This is a key? I picked up the key that fell to the ground. I held it up and saw a keychain with Banjul's logo on it. I widened my eyes. Then this is the key to Banjul. I remember Zion looking like he wanted to cry. A person who just lost something precious. I know that feeling so well. Grandpa. How would Zion feel right now? Oh, no. Ay. I don't know, I can't. I don't know if it's because I played the bad endings, but I'm like so suspicious of Tay with everything. Ugh. Aww. Oh. This is probably going to lead me to a bad end. I should probably ask Tay to go with me because I'm going to get horribly attacked. Or he's going to follow me anyway and kill me. I don't know. I gotta go. I know it's a really bad idea to sneak into the building. But they say criminals always go back to the scene of the crime. I might be able to find some clues. We can do this. We can do it. It's opened. Oh. Among the silence, I hear the loud click of the door being unlocked. I glance around for a while and hurry into the cafe. My heart pounded like when I first found the key. I was so nervous I thought he'd see through my clothes and find the key in my pocket. But thankfully, Tay didn't notice anything after he came out from the bathroom. And I acted calm, told him good night, and went back to my room. I laid on my bed and pretended to sleep for a moment. Before leaving the house, I made sure to check the lights turning off in his room. He would never let me go. Okay, let's try this again. He would never let me go to Banjul at this hour if I tell him. I might be able to find something they missed. That thought led me to Banjul. I clenched my fists. I guess I should be lucky he didn't decide to watch me tonight. I hope I can find something. I stood at the entrance and looked around the hall. No matter how carefully I look around, I only see one entrance. Then whoever took the harp came in and walked out through this door. I looked around all corners of the cafe, but as Tay said, there weren't any traces left. Besides, looking around wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I didn't turn the lights on to make sure no one knew I sneaked in. I could barely see anything. Besides, the elegant antique decorations were kind of creepy to see at night. I should have brought a jacket. The cold air surrounded me. I stood there shivering. It was at that moment I heard someone coming up the stairs. Maybe it was because it's night, but the footsteps sounded so loud. This was a terrible idea. What have I done? I'm gonna die here. And whoever it was coming up very fast. Huh? My heart beat faster the louder the footsteps became. I quickly hid in the corner of the cafe. Who would come at this hour? Is it the thief? My heart pounded more to think that. What if It's really the thief. At that moment, I thought of what would happen if it is really the thief. I'm here by myself. If I faced the thief one-to-one, it would be difficult for me to catch him. If he sees me, he would never just let me go since I'm the witness. I could almost hear my own heartbeat. My clenched hands started to sweat. I then realized how dangerous it is for me right now. Oh, I can't believe I'm gonna get a bad end for the first time. The footsteps didn't stop and just came closer. I crouched down to hide myself better. The footsteps finally stopped in front of the entrance. And then the door opened, cutting through the silence. Ugh. The light suddenly turned on. My hopes of not getting caught in the dark were completely destroyed. Caught up in fear, I couldn't say anything and just shut my eyes. I heard the footsteps stop literally right in front of me. I felt someone move. And then someone touched my shoulder. Ah! Too scared, I couldn't even open my eyes and just screamed. And I swung my fist to the person I couldn't see. Calm down, calm down. This voice? I slowly raised my head. It was a big and familiar figure. And this voice. Huh? I finally opened my eyes and raised my head. I knew you would follow me here anyway! Ah! But your calm music is playing? Oh. I hope you're not mad at me. You're not gonna murder me here. I'm sorry, it was a terrible idea. I'm really sorry. Tay's face filled my sight. I heard him panting over my head. I can't believe we just punched him too. I couldn't see his face properly because he had his back to the light. But it's definitely Tay who's standing in front of me. But he's not really himself. Surprisingly, Tay was shaking a bit. What happened? I was a bit scared to see him like that. Tay? Thank God. You're safe. He always smiled softly, but right now he was frowning hard. Did he worry about me that much to still shake like that? I came back to my senses to see him act so strange. What did I just do? And then I realized I sneaked out of the house. Besides, I basically stole this key from his jacket. Yes, I did a lot of terrible things. I had nothing to say because I knew what I did was wrong. Tay raised his head and looked at me. Something bad could have happened to you. How could you just go out by yourself this late? I lowered my head. I had nothing to say to him. I just thought maybe I might find some clues. My voice faded away. Tay lowered his voice to see me like that. If there were any clues, we would have already found it. It's not something you can just solve by yourself. Are you mad? Besides, taking my key. Is Zion that important to you? What? What do you mean if Zion's that important? Never mind. One thing is sure, Tay worried about me. I should first say sorry. Sorry. The key fell to the ground, and I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry for worrying you. As I kept on apologizing, Tay let out another sigh. Really, I've never seen him this unkempt. It was scary and strange. I don't care about the key. But if something happened to you here, I would have gone crazy. Tay? I was surprised at what he said. Did I worry him too much? Tay was still shaking. I looked up and stared into his eyes. And I realized he looked like he was about to cry. Oh, Tay! Thank you for coming and saving me. Instead of being angry, he looked like he was afraid. What if someone really bad came right now instead of me? There wouldn't be anything I could do. I don't want that to happen even in my dreams. I'm sorry. I went closer to him, and carefully I grabbed his big hand. His cold hand was still trembling. I held on to it tightly. Sorry. I'm really sorry. Tay wasn't getting mad at me. Oh, He was worrying about me. His eyes didn't shake from anger, it was from fear. The fear of something bad happening to me made him tremble. I felt like crying at how much he cared for me. I felt so sorry and so grateful. Tay calmed himself down as he saw that I was about to cry as well. He held up his hand I was holding on to, and then he held up his other hand to put on mine. His cold hands grew warm. I felt his trembling slowly disappear. My face was heated and felt hot. Tay said in a sad voice, "If something happens to you, no, even thinking about that, I can't handle it. Tay, you mean so much to me." "Okay. Thanks." Tay put into words what he always felt. I quietly nodded. "So don't do something like this, if you don't want to kill me from all the worry." "All right." Tay let go of my hand, and he quietly looked at me for a while. I couldn't stare into his eyes because of the guilt, so I was avoiding his eyes when... Achoo! I sneezed. Cutie, you and me are one on this. We sneeze at the wrong time. Tay grinned and looked at my clothes. "You look cold. Sit here." Tay led me to a chair. He was slowly coming back to his usual self. Thankfully, he no longer looked worked up. As I sat down, Tay headed to the kitchen. I asked him in a hurry, "Where are you going?" Tay smiled. Now he's really back to his usual self. I finally felt relieved to see his signature smile. "You didn't drink it today." "What?" "The tea that's perfect in a moment like this." "Oh." Tay grinned and walked to the kitchen. Yeah, I could use a bit of that. I sat there spacing out and waited for him to come back. I heard pots and cups clattering. And I quietly let out a sigh of relief, thinking of the smile he just gave me. "Now, I made the tea stronger than usual. My own special triple Z." Tay came with the tea. "Can you just use the kitchen like that?" "It's fine. I can just clean it up later. And I'll pay for the tea, so don't worry. Drink up. You'll feel warm." "Okay. Thanks." I sipped the tea Tay gave me, but I couldn't just enjoy the scent like I always did. I think my heart is still pounding. But we still didn't catch that thief. "Don't worry about that now." But still... Tay put on his serious face again as I tried to say something. "You're more important to me than the harp. What if you got hurt trying to catch that thief? Please think about me too. So don't care about the harp now, alright?" I couldn't help but nod at Tay's firm attitude. I didn't want to worry Tay. "Thanks for understanding." Tay sat by my side. "Oh, a new picture." And he leaned his head on my shoulder. I could hear him breathe. My heart pounded again for a different reason. To hide my embarrassment, I pretended to be calm and talked to him. Aww. I feel like we're on a date right now. "Should we really go on a date next time?" "Don't you remember what you said? You said we should keep our distance in public." "Oh, did I?" Tay mumbled to himself. "Yeah, if we go on a date, something you worry about might happen to me." "I told you I don't mind, but you're bothered by it." Tay didn't say anything and just stroked my hair. My eyes closed at his soft touch. I was slowly growing dim when I heard his quiet voice. "I just thought you might get hurt. Sorry." "About what?" "I'm human now, but I don't think I've given you any good memories," Tay said with guilt. "That's not true. You have no idea how happy I am these days. Of course, there were some troubles, but I always think I'm so lucky to have you guys." "Okay, then I'm glad." Tay moved his hands again and touched my hair. Tay, how about you?" "What?" "You're now human, like you said. Are you happy?" Tay stayed silent for a while. Is it too hard to answer? I peered at him and stood up. Tay? Oh, and at that moment Tay embraced me tight. His arms locked me in. I widened my eyes. I still feel like I'm dreaming. I'm so happy it scares me. If this really is a dream, I can sleep forever. Every time you say my name as soon as you wake up, and every time you start your day with the breakfast I cook, every time you turn around when I call you, I feel like it's all a miracle. The words came out through his body and through his voice. I felt every single word. What should I do with you? I can't even for a second get you out of my head. Tay, what should I do? I was surprised at Tay's obsessive words, but at the same time I felt drowsy, so I was feeling a bit conflicted right now. His voice started to fade away, and all my senses slowly became numb, and eventually I couldn't hear his voice at all. My eyelids felt so heavy. No, he's saying something important right now. But before I could feel bad about it, my consciousness slowly grew dim. Cutie! It was getting so cute. What should I do? Would I be able to protect you forever? Slept well? You just let me sleep here the whole night? Oh, Tay, good morning. But what time is it? It's 9. What? My eyes suddenly opened wide at Tay's answer. Oh my god! The Academy! Huh? This is... It's Saturday today, and we're at Banjul. Banjul? You don't remember yesterday? Oh, right. Yesterday I remember coming here in the middle of the night trying to catch the harp thief, and there was a huge fuss after that. Then I was talking with Tay, and I must have fallen asleep. Tay is already in his uniform. I chased away the sleep and got up from the sofa. Oh dear. I really must have spent the night at Banjul. You should have woken me up. Sleeping outside. If he woke me up, I would have gone straight home. I feel like I've troubled him for nothing. You were sleeping so well I couldn't. Don't worry, I was by your side the whole night. Oh, I feel worse now. You have to work now and I wore you out. No, it's nothing like that, so don't think about it. I dusted my wrinkled clothes. I should get going. If I see Mr. Hobbin, I won't have any excuses. Tay looked sorry to see me go. It was at that moment... Oh. Hear me out. The quality of the tea leaves I found this time are so spectacular. Huh? What is she doing here at this hour? I was just about to leave when I bumped into Mr. Hobbin in front of the door. He looked surprised to see me, but I was more surprised and stuttered. Oh, I asked her to get something for me. She came to give me that. Oh, really? Anyways, this is good. Since you're our first customer today, will you try out our new drink? What? I found some rare tea leaves during this trip. I'll go make the tea, so wait here. All right? Mr. Hobbin smiled and stopped me from leaving. I couldn't decide what to do and just peered at Tay. Meanwhile, the door opened again. Oh! Zion! You've got a coat. It's cute. Oh, Zion, you're here too. Hey, come and look at this. Look at what I brought. Ha 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 ha.
Mr. Hobbin.
Zion ran towards us fast and jumped into Mr. Hobbin's arms. He was startled and just stared at Zion's head. Zion couldn't raise his head and just shouted in his arms. He sounded like he was already crying.
Mr. Hobbin, I'm so sorry. I was careless and... Whatever happens, I'll pay for the harp, so please don't kick me out.
What? What? What are you saying? Hey, Zion, let me go. Oi, Tay, what's wrong with him?
Mr. Hobbin, actually... Now, move everyone, the harp's coming in.
My second theory after the Tay stole the harp thing was, what if he's just getting the harp cleaned? Or, like, the strings replaced or something. Oh, dear. The door opened again. At the intimidating voice commanding us, we all moved back from the entrance. And the harp we thought was lost entered the cafe. Huh? Oh, just in time. Thank you so much.
We really had it tough this time. You can't just call and ask for repairs in the middle of the night. And you even asked us to come and get it.
Ha ha, we finally got someone who can play it, but it was left untouched for so long there were lots to tweak, Mr. Hobbin said while scratching his head.
Oh, next time please give us more time. Our workers had to stay up all night to fix it.
Okay, I'll make sure of that from now on. I really wanted to see it being played this weekend.
Anyways, here's the bill. This time I charge the regular fee, but if it's again another all-nighter job next time, we'll charge more.
Ha ha, thank you.
Now, good job, guys. We'll leave now.
After talking with Mr. Hobbin, the man and his co-workers put down the harp and left the cafe. During the whole time, we were all at a total loss for words. Especially Zion, who looked like he just had his soul sucked out. Poor Zion.
Mr. Hobbin, what in the world?
How is it? Doesn't it look completely new? An instrument is just like a person. It's important to be touched. Winky face. Mr. Hobbin nodded and looked quite satisfied with himself. And he beamed at Zion. Now, come here, Zion. It'll have a much prettier sound now. Why don't you try playing it later to celebrate?
Mr. Hobbin, what's...
I know. You must be lost for words with gratitude. I understand. There can't be a nicer manager than me. Ah ha ha. Mr. Hobbin laughed cheerfully.
Mr. Hobbin, you left the harp for repairs?
Yeah, why do you ask?
And you gave them your spare key?
Yeah.
And you told them to take the harp in the middle of the night?
Yeah, they disrupt business if they take it in the afternoon. Aren't I smart?
What do you mean, smart? Then you should have told us before. I didn't know.
Huh? I didn't tell you?
You didn't!
Zion's shrilly voice echoed through the cafe. I barely stopped myself from laughing. Still, thank God. I'm glad Zion wasn't cornered as the harp thief, and I'm glad Tay wasn't a harp thief. And I'm glad Tay's workplace is peaceful. I just stared at Tay. Yesterday night I fell asleep early, but I was so thankful to Tay for worrying about me. Oh. Tay looked at me and smiled. I blushed and avoided his eyes. Right, we were talking about potatoes. Oh, a diary. Just diary? With notes? Another chapter has been... Oh, that was a sweet chapter. I was so worried I was going to get a bad ending, but I think sneaking out actually brought us closer to Tay. Aw. Yay.